Welcome to AFL180, brought to you by Guru.com.au. It's been a quieter week in AFL, unfortunately. Apart from the Mighty D's winning their second match of the year. Unfortunately, we're up to round 15.
Just, if that game went for 30 more seconds, the Bulldogs would have won that game.
We'll cover all that. We're also going to discuss our Brownlow expectations and the Coleman expectations for the rest of the year. Let's start, though, by looking at this week's bets. This week, firstly...
last week, really.
We're joined by the same boys as were here last week, Jono and Vava. Jono is our new tipping leader.
Hey!
This on the back of the betting guru being a soft beep and tipping like a little pansy.
They're shies and better, basically.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Don't give me this. I've been leading the whole competition. Welcome to AFL180, brought to you by Guru.com.au. It's been a quieter week in AFL, unfortunately. Apart from the Mighty D's winning their second match of the year. Unfortunately, we're up to round 15.
Just, if that game went for 30 more seconds, the Bulldogs would have won that game.
We'll cover all that. We're also going to discuss our Brownlow expectations and the Coleman expectations for the rest of the year. Let's start, though, by looking at this week's bets. This week, firstly...
last week, really.
We're joined by the same boys as were here last week, Jono and Vava. Jono is our new tipping leader.
Hey!
This on the back of the betting guru being a soft beep and tipping like a little pansy.
They're shies and better, basically.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Don't give me this. I've been leading the whole competition the whole way.
With your $4 and $5 bets, you should be well up in front.
Of course, just for people that have just tuned in, we're talking about the Betting Guru Top Punter competition, where we're placing $10 on each game and we're tallying up all the results. So people at home can follow if they want to. All the tips are on the website at bettingguru.com.au. Now, it's between the three of us. Jono's taken the lead. So, do you want to? Have you got the results up there?
I do. So I'm sitting on $504 of payout at the moment. Michael is sitting on 497, or the betting guru, I should say, is sitting on 497, and Vova made up some good ground with a massive week this week, $121 of payouts to get himself back up to $475 in total.
And most interestingly, he won the least number of bets.
Yes.
Yet he smashed it.
Yeah.
Well, lucky with his Geelong 40 plus.
Please,
bet.
Geelong should have won that game by 100. Freo had one inside 50 for the quarter in the third quarter. Geelong kicked 2 goals, 10 or something stupid like that. I can't believe the game was even that close. But it was a nice payout of $4, which I'm kind of surprised about the odds given they had Mundy and Barlow and a few other guys out. But that wasn't the only good result. I also managed to go Richmond 40 plus, where I called both of you slightly limp and collected $235.
And you got the Ruse line bet as well, which
70 points was
79.5, yeah. And they romped it in.
Now the big one you mentioned earlier was I laughed at it last week that it was going to be a big clash, Melbourne versus the Bulldogs, and Vova came out with some very insightful comments. What did you say last week?
I said I think there's a chance it's going to be an absolutely brilliant match, and I hope the Doggies would win. I mean the D's would win, but here's the thing.
But you tipped against them.
I tipped against them because I got no faith. How can you have faith in that team? But for all that, it was perfect. Bloody Watts is the one that won in the game and rescued in the game. Besides for Melbourne winning, there's no better storyline. That was incredible.
Yeah. And we talked about Melbourne last week, who you would actually keep, and what's names got mentioned.
Yeah.
You could be getting up there to becoming a real AFL player.
It's unfortunately it's not going to be 2 games in a row, but there were some good signs there. It's there's some potential, I have to say. There's some potential.
7 goals. They got the Bulldogs kicked the last 7 goals in a 9-goal quarter, I think.
9-goal quarter.
And that's after they had 6 in the first 3 quarters.
Honestly, I think they panicked a little and they got a bit tight because they haven't had the winning feeling for a while. John is probably right. Yeah. John is right. Maybe if they had another minute, the Bulldogs would win. But Melbourne was so good for the first 3 quarters that they deserved
Melbourne could not get their hands on it in that last quarter. It was unbelievable. It was Minson tap out to Little Liver, kick it forward, take a mark, kick a goal. They did not miss. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And
I was just nervous listening to it on the radio. Just nervous. Like, you watch the highlights afterwards, but I was shaking. I think I was more nervous than for any Saints game in a long time. You just wanted them to win. It was
actually a good week. Like from a betting perspective, going head to head against each other. I mean, the Guru and I took the Bombers at 1-39, with Vova taking the Eagles 1-39.
And that could have gone either way.
Could have gone either way, but the
That
Bombers got there. The Cats 40+ result for Vova fell in by a point. The Suns and Crows was a bit of a turner. I took the Crows, you guys took the
Suns.
took the Suns. So
that's the last time I do that.
The Sun?
They've burnt me so many times.
And then the other big one was Port getting over the Pies.
Well, there was a couple of interesting results. Like, who would have thought they didn't just beat them? They walloped them.
Yeah.
And
Sydney
I got to tell you,
Collingwood in consecutive weeks. That's
week by
amazing.
week.
Suddenly,
Buckley's
everyone's got them in the finals. Everyone's thinking they're going to be there.
I don't have them in the finals, but I think it's more of an indictment on Collingwood, and I'm still sticking with my Collingwood not making the 8 bet from earlier in the year. But
surely
week
they
by
have
week,
to lose this week for that to happen.
mate, Buckley's not a good, at least what we're seeing now. Buckley's not a great coach. And the weird thing is, I don't know if he's got a rift going with Dane Swan, but when they were down and couldn't get the ball out of the midfield, he had them playing full forward practically.
I don't think it's just Dane Swan. There's definitely some sort of tensions in that team.
Well, look, they were talking on the radio today. They have 9 of their starting 22 players injured at the moment, who would be walk-up starts for their 22.
Well,
who
have you got really? Okay, Harry O'Brien's out this week, but you got Ben Reid, given. Goldsack, iffy. Dale Thomas, sure. Beams, definitely. Who else do you really have that's going to make that much of an impact?
Any team would love Thomas.
No, I'm saying for sure. For sure, but I think 9 is a little bit misleading in that it's not.
Goldsack would be the best player in Melbourne.
Your captain's back this week.
Yes,
Jackie Grimes.
Jack Grimes is back.
It's
the second captain.
The second captain.
All right, let's move on. So the topic for this week that we're going to look at is the Brownlow Medal and the Coleman Medal. What are our predictions? Who is likely to win this thing? Let's start with the Brownlow.
Well, we've gone a bit early, given that we're still 7 or 8 weeks out, and given that I gave a lot of crap to the Brownlow last week. But having said that, I think this one is one that we probably can call very early, unlike a lot of the other ones. It's hard to see anybody winning this but Ablett.
Yeah, I agree. I think the rest of the competition, it's so close. If you look at the teams that are at the top of the ladder, you look at Hawthorn, it's just been such an even spread of players. Mitchell's getting his 30+ every week, so he's probably going to get some 1s and 2s, and he'll be up there again. Essendon, Watson's played some big games. He'll get some 3s, but he's played some stinkers. Dangerfield's played some good games, but Adelaide haven't won enough games.
And he started terribly.
You got Dan Hannabury's probably been the best player for Sydney, but he's got guys taking votes off him. So I can only see Ablett winning it.
The only one I think,
since you both agree, I have to try and disagree, right?
The one person I will add to this that I don't think gets the respect they deserve is Pendlebury. How Pendlebury doesn't have a Brownlow medal at this point of his career is a little bit surprising to me. So I think he's the one that potentially could get some respect this year and maybe win it despite form.
I'm not sure if they give you one just for missing out earlier. Although
they probably should.
There's probably a couple.
The one that I can see. I mean, I don't see how Dane Swan can be, have shorter odds than Mitchell at the moment. I mean, Swan hasn't played a great year.
Yeah, but I can't say Mitchell's been amazing either, and he's got so many other players that are chipping in.
Yeah. Anyway,
who are you going?
I think Ablett's by far the premier. But if I was to disagree with you in some way, it would be that a guy like Ablett should win it every single year. He's by far the best player in the league. He's so far and away the best player in the league. But he doesn't, right?
I don't agree
that the losing team at the moment.
But I also don't agree that in the past he was the best player in the league. I think that is a legitimate case. Franklin being the best 2008, Rewald being the best 2009. Like maybe we've had Judd at the peak of his powers. We got Ablett certainly deserves, but Swan was incredible for a while. I don't know.
There's a lot of good midfielders going around, but I don't think anyone's like Ablett. Can't tackle that guy. He's
Yeah, but
just unstoppable.
you can't tackle Dangerfield either. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I've
Abbott's
just
an
seen
absolute
anyone be
freak,
able to
but
pick the ball up with 3 blokes hanging off
Yeah,
him,
he's
off the ground,
incredible.
stand up and run away from them.
full
It's
pace,
unbelievable.
full pace as well. He's an absolute freak. But this is this is the thing that frustrates me. We have like Harry Taylor, to back up Jono just for once, has been a absolutely great player this year.
Another big game on the weekend.
He'll
and
probably
another
get
huge game on the weekend.
7 Brownlow
Exactly,
votes.
which is a disgrace.
At the most.
An absolute disgrace. Guys like Jakey Carlisle should get some votes. I mean, for God's sake, I think Rewald should get some votes this year, even if he's racing with soreness.
But the topic isn't how crap the Brownlow Vittle is.
Yeah.
True.
It's who you think is going to win.
Okay.
So if everyone thinks it's Ablett, who is second?
Pendlebury.
Mitchell.
Or Griffin.
You reckon
Mitchell.
You reckon Mitchell? You reckon Pendlebury?
Yeah, Griffin is a possible. If he keeps up the way he's playing right now for the rest of the season, he's gonna pick up 1s and 2s just because he's that good. That despite Bulldogs not winning, he's still that amazing. Plus, he's got long hair. He's a midfielder, and
extra votes.
And I've got Watson up there probably for third because he'll probably he'll at least get 5 or 6 3 voters.
Yeah, I like that one. He polls well. He's visible.
he's on drugs.
He introduced himself to the umpires before the match. That's the one that they remember at the end.
Cries a lot after the match. It's
All right, boys. What about the Coleman?
she's a tight one.
Well, this is about
This one doesn't need anyone to.
This is about as close as the Coleman medal has been for a long time.
And as low scoring as the Coleman medal has been for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unbelievable. I mean, you've got Kennedy leading on 41. 14 games into a season. I don't think we've had a Coleman medal leader that on that few goals. At this stage of the season.
Football's changing. Football is really changing.
Well, I mean,
it's going away from goal kickers aren't as important as guys that can take a mark across the half forward line, and it's much more important to have a midfielder.
You still need goal kickers.
No, but you have a look at the
goal kickers. They're not important in football.
Have a look at the last few teams.
It's behind kickers.
It's behind kickers. True. But I mean, just designated goal kickers is just
Jack Rewalt won last year
Well,
with just 65.
Yeah, and
Well,
have a look at where Sydney won it. Has Sydney got a decent?
But this is
There hasn't been a 100-goal season since 2008.
to give you
That was
an
102.
example. To give you an example, the top 5 players currently, even the top 6 players currently on the Coleman medal. Top 5 call it. You've got Kennedy, Rewalt, Jared Ruffhead, Lindsay Thomas, and Lance Franklin. All with Franklin's got 37. It goes up to 41 with Kennedy. All of those guys, bar Jack Rewalt, have nearly 40 tackles as well as key forwards.
They're
That's
expected to
unheard of.
do a defensive job.
Do you remember a single tackle that Dunstall laid in his career? Because I don't. I'm pretty sure Lockett knocked in a few guys' heads, never laid a tackle in his life.
But so changing, you're expected to do more. And then Lance Franklin, I mean, he's still kicked 39 goals for the year, but he's had something like 10 on average, 10 score involvements for the last few weeks. He's giving off balls to Ruffy and Brewsty and those sorts of fellas.
Here's the thing. This is a measure of how good Ablett is. I think if he went forward and played permanent forward, you'd believe in Coleman. Yeah. He's that good.
He would.
He would absolutely believe in Coleman.
He spends a little bit of time up forward just to rest, kicks a couple of goals in every
goes
game.
into the midfield. So, Jono, who's your tip for the Coleman?
I think that the way Richmond are playing, I think Jack Rewalt will get it just.
Tough. I don't know what to tell you. I want to say Rewald because he's the only he's the guy that they mainly look for at Richmond, but they've also started spreading the goal-kicking load around. Kennedy's got Darling and Cox up there, so he can't be relied on the whole time. I mean, I still think it might be Franklin.
See, I've actually got Franklin and Ruffhead finishing on the same number of goals. in equal third spot.
Oh, you just feel that Franklin has got one explosion left in him. I think he might kick a 10 or 11 against
Well, they've
somebody.
still got to play Essendon, and he loves playing
Yes,
Essendon.
he
He's had
absolutely
a couple
loves
of big
it.
bags against them, but Jake Carlisle will probably do the number on him this year.
You got to remember though that the guy's playing for a contract this year, and he'll get good money whatever happens. But he's got to have one breakaway game that reminds people that I am worth.
He's worth $2 million a year. Yeah,
exactly.
that's right.
So Lance is fifth, and he's only 4 goals from Josh Kennedy at the top.
Yeah.
So 1 13-goal game. Just going to put him right in there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he could just
So
he could have a good 3 weeks and just kick 7 to 5.
So how many goals do we reckon that the Coleman medal winner will actually kick?
Well, I think towards the end of the season they start kicking a bit more because some of the teams that are out of contention start trying a little less. I think.
Or Jack Rewald, I reckon, will be sitting in that forward line and waiting for it until he gets that Coleman. He was very close last year, by the way. I remember last couple of rounds he just wanted the ball.
Well, he got it.
Yeah.
He won it with 65 goals.
Yeah, which is really not much of a win. I don't know.
Which is roughly what it's going to be this year as well.
Franklin might double his goal tally in the last what is it, 8 rounds. It's possible. There is no reason why he can't average 4.5 goals a game going forward. So I'm going Franklin. And Roughhead, as good as he is, and I actually think he's as good a player as Franklin, he's not going to continue kicking the same amount of goals, playing midfield ruck, floating forward. Like, it's just, he's been incredible, he will be incredible, but he's got a different role. I just don't think he can maintain it.
So just to name the favourites in the betting, Jack Rewalt, no surprise, is favourite. It's 3.85 on Betfair. And in second spot is Josh Kennedy at $5.10.
Well, Franklin's 540 is really not that far away. I mean, I'd be
You
nervous
could
with
hedge
the
your bets.
Rewalt
You could
bet.
put $10 on each and still make some money.
You could, if one of them does it.
Well, who else is going to do it?
No, as Sam Newman says, yeah, you should definitely put your house on that. All right, let's see how those results go. We'll look back at that come finals time.
Well,
See if that Coleman.
While we're doing the finals podcast, I think on the week of the Brownlow, we need to put some official $10 bets on some top 3 finishers, top finishers, and see who
You're
comes out.
proposing a change to the competition.
I'm proposing an addition to the competition. If we're going to go through the finals, we should.
This is a good week to sign up since we're all pretty even.
True.
All right, let's have a look forward to this week. We've got another 9 games. Jono again will be happy that it's not a bye round. All right, massive clash.
Cracking games.
Massive
This
clash on
whole
Friday.
week, is going to decide the 8 hugely.
Well, I think if Carlton loses to Collingwood Friday night, they're probably not
So
gonna make it.
let's go Carlton Collingwood.
So Carlton Collingwood.
For mine, one of the 4 matches of the round. I don't know. It's just seriously, you could flip a coin. I was impressed with Carlton last week with the way they kept fighting against Sydney, and I just don't. Collingwood just something doesn't appear to be right. I'm taking Carlton 1-39 with absolutely no confidence at all.
Does this one depend on the weather?
And Karatso was back, so unfortunately, I think
and Murphy.
Murphy's back.
And Murphy's back. Murphy's big, but I think Karatso is even bigger for them because one of Pendlebury or Swan is going to get some close attention, which is huge for Carlton.
I think the weather's important for them. Is this at MCG? Yes, it is. So the weather could play a part. If it's cold, wet and windy, Carlton's small forwards just don't seem to be as
effective.
As effective, whereas Collingwood has a big man up forward. He's going to do well regardless.
Yeah, but I think last week it was just a torrential downpour. If it's a little bit wet, I don't think they'll mind too much.
Okay.
There's some interesting ins and outs this week as well. I mean, Carlton have got Bootsmart, White, and Heath Scotland. I mean, that's their half back line effectively.
Yeah, but it's not much of a half back line.
And Murphy, McInnes, Carazzo coming in, and then Collingwood have got Lynch and O'Brien out as well as Russell and Martin. With Cracker, Clinton Young, Ben Reid and Jared Witts coming in. So they've injected some pace. They've got a key defender back. Look, I'm taking like Volvo, I've got no confidence, but I'm actually taking Collingwood head-to-head. But I think I'm going to take it with the sports bet money back 20 points or less special.
Very good. We'll note that down for you, and I will do exactly the same ththing. I'll take Collingwood. I don't think Carlton's quite there yet.
I think Collingwood will be angry as well.
Just
After
for
the
the-
loss
They
last
have
week,
to be, surely.
they'll come out, they'll play on emotion. this week.
For the money back special, for the uninitiated, including me, what exactly is this?
So for the Collingwood Carlton game and the Hawthorn Geelong game, they're called blockbuster specials. And if your team loses by less than, or the team that you've bet on loses by less than 20 points, or 20 points or less, you get your money back.
Yeah, so it's the same competition that they ran earlier in the year.
Okay.
Where we all bet, and it actually wasn't a 20-point result, it was the Sydney Collingwood.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's right.
But we picked Sydney correctly, so that's good. Alright.
Betting Guru, who are you taking?
Collingwood head-to-head.
Collingwood head-to-head, alright.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 50-50, we'll see what happens. Giants are playing the Western Bulldogs. The Bulldogs would not want to lose to Melbourne and the Giants.
in consecutive weeks.
That would be.
What do you think?
That would be devastating. But McCarthy said during the week that they're a young team, which should temper expectations. He's probably right. I mean, I can't say I was too surprised they lost to Melbourne. Having said that, I mean GWS is just not that great this year. I think they're going to take a little while to come on.
I don't think they're trying too hard. They've definitely tempered expectations.
Yeah, but I think they're going to get some mature players this year. So I think GWS going forward are going to be good. But I'm taking the Bulldogs at the line of minus 29.5. They're just the midfield's a little bit too good, and they're a bit too even with their inexperience, they're still a bit too experienced for the Giants.
Okay, Jono. Big Will playing his 150th.
Yeah, look, I'm taking the Dogs, but only head to head after their performance against Melbourne last week. I can't trust them one way or another, so I'm just taking them head to head. GWS, they play okay at home up there, so look, Dogs head to head for me, and leave it at that.
I'm going to take the Dogs at 40 plus. I think they're going to carry on from what they did to Melbourne in the last quarter. And I'm really hoping the
coach is going to give him a bit of a rocket.
Yes, and I'll get some decent odds on that as well, and hopefully rocket my way to the top where I belong. All right, North versus Richmond, afternoon match on Saturday.
Very excited about this match. Very excited because I think this match is going to put me into the lead in tipping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking North Melbourne 1-39. They're going to break through at some point, and I think it's going to be this week. Richmond are a little bit mentally fragile, I think. North Melbourne's even more mentally fragile, but at some point they're gonna
kind of argue against yourself.
Yeah, correct. Here's the thing: they're going to hit form at some point. I think they're going to take a scalp. I think the scalp they're going to take is Richmond this week. North 1-39.
I'm taking North head to head. So your lead's not going to be that big if that result comes off. Similar to you, I just think that the way that North came out in that first quarter last week before the Giants started flooding, and Marriage still out in the ruck for Richmond, I just think they're right for the picking, and North could get them.
They got some decent odds as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're at 275.
275 head to head and 340 for your 1-39,
which I think is way too long in my opinion.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to do the opposite of you guys and go with Richmond.
Oh, it's for the lead back?
Yes.
Richmond head to head.
I think Richmond are surprising on the up this year, while North is surprising on the down. So I'm going to take Richmond head to head. Jake the Push-Up King's playing his 100th game. I think he's going to get him across the line. I'm talking about the entire team. He's just going to carry him
on his back.
Across
he's going to put Koch on his back, who's
not a huge guy. Alright. All Brisbane clash there. Well,
all Queensland.
All Queensland clash.
The Q clash.
I apologise.
Isn't that what they call it? The Q clash.
Yeah. Apologise to all the Sun supporters out there. This is
all one of the Sun supporters.
Nice and sunny game we would love to be.
Oh, I hate Michael Voss. I hate him so much. For as good a player as he was, like every bit of talent that went into him being a good player was taken away into him being a terrible coach. He is a shocking coach. Also, he's ruining my Supercoach team, which I'm upset about. I think the betting guru and I have been burnt by Gold Coast a few times, and I'm going to be burnt by them again this week. I'm taking Gold Coast 1-39.
Wow.
How is that logic?
I've been burnt.
I will tell you how it worked. I got last week's commentary. I said I was burnt by Fremantle a few times, and then get burnt again, and I won at $4.
All right.
I think Gold Coast is good value. Yeah.
Johnny?
I'm going the opposite. I'm going Brisbane 1-39. So I just think, Brisbane, they beat Geelong the other week. They held up for 3 quarters against Hawthorn relatively well. So I just think Brisbane will be too strong, especially at the Gabba.
I'm also going for Brisbane, and I'm just going to take them head to head, just in case they go nuts.
Soft.
Yes, possibly. All right. We have Adelaide Crows versus the West Coast Eagles. Adelaide at home. What?
This shapes the 8 once again. I think the winner of this is the
Really?
loser of this is gone.
Yeah.
The winner's still got a chance. I'm giving West Coast one more chance. West Coast head to head.
Wow. I'm taking Adelaide head to head only because it's at home. But once again, like I said last week, Adelaide against Gold Coast, no confidence. I'm taking Adelaide against West Coast with no confidence.
The interesting thing about this game is the outs for West Coast don't look as bad as they should. Because really, we've got Selwood and Shuey still missing.
True.
And Kerr. Who's left in the midfield?
Well, they still got Pritis, Gaff, who's looked decent in the last few weeks.
Yeah. It's a team effort though. I really don't know with this one. Yeah, I'm going to go Adelaide head to head.
All right. Once again, I think I am the odd one out most weeks.
Okay. Now this one is the biggest match. I just love these clashes. I'm not a Hawthorn or a Geelong supporter, but I love.
You just wish Melbourne could play half as good, don't you?
I love this whole concept of the Kennett curse and like. I went to one of these games recently, and it was just awesome when Hawkins kicked a goal after the siren. It had everything that game.
Don't talk about it, please.
Johnny doesn't like it. He backs for Hawthorn. So why don't you start?
Well, I was going to say, I'm only going to take a second. I'll let Jono speak. I'm going Hawthorn head to head, just because I think they're going to break through eventually. And this week's going to be the week. Jono, over to you, son.
I don't think the Hawks are going to break through this week. The way Geelong played against Freo last week, if they can do the same again against Hawthorn, I think they'll bring that level of intensity. I think Geelong will do it, taking them head to head with the Sportsbet money back special. Because if they win, it's generally not by much. So, or if they lose, it won't be by much either. So,
tipping against your own team.
I am.
You win either way. Betting Guru.
That's right. That's the one bet I'm happy to lose.
Where do you think they're going to hurt you?
Pace through the midfield, and they're big forwards. Their big forwards always get us. I mean, yes, we've got Lake now, but I just think that they just structure up really well against us, and they have done for 5 years.
I was looking line by line at this game, and Hawthorn just feel like a better team. I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't come down to that all the time.
They've been a better team for the last 6 clashes, and Geelong has won every single one of them.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm going with Hawks. Because, no, I'll tell you why. It is because of that promo as well, because I think the only team that's capable of winning by more than 20 is probably Hawthorn, if it goes the other way. I think if the Cats win, it's going to be a tight one, so I'll probably get my money back anyway. So, that ends that. So, Melbourne versus Sydney. Clash of the big cities. Just trying to pump it up, but really I think Sydney's going to smash them. Let me just put that out there. Swans by more than 40.
Yeah, I'm taking Swans 40 plus.
My only worry with this game is the weather. I'm actually taking Sydney minus 59.5. Just because, I think Melbourne, after being a little bit on the up, might be a little bit down this week. And Sydney, I don't think they played that well last week, so I think Longmire is going to give them a bit of a...
So you're taking Sydney?
Yeah, well, I'm saying Sydney will win by more than 59.5.
Wow, okay.
Next clash is the clash of the stolen coach, Dockers versus St Kilda. Who do you want?
Screw you, Ross Lyon. Screw you. The Inns make some interesting reading in this game. They've got
half a team now.
Pavlich, Sandilands, Mundy and Barlow, and we've got Rewald out. So I couldn't find... Unfortunately, I don't think the line's big enough here. I went Freo minus 60.5. If I could bet minus 80, I would take that one. Right? We're not getting within 15 goals of this mob. Seriously. If St Kilda scores 2 goals... Right, I will run around naked at Jono's house recording this podcast next week.
Hang on a minute.
Nobody needs to see that.
I'm not
next
up for that.
I thought next week we were changing the podcast to a live video.
One of these weeks. The line can't be big enough here. Anyway, I'm going Freo minus 60.5.
I'm going Freo 40 plus.
Yes, me too. I agree.
You can do anything different to me this week, or?
What do you mean? They're all completely different.
Last 2 weeks, you guys have been.
Oh. All right, last game. I'm going to do something different to John, just to
Seriously,
prove a point here.
just yeah. Copy the
Essendon
lead.
versus Port.
I'm in the lead.
So to do something different to John, I'm
understand.
going to pick Crows.
I see. Okay, guys, this is going to be the most boring match of the round.
Yeah,
Seriously.
probably.
Because at least in the other games, it isn't going to be an outright smashing where someone. Cause nothing will happen in this game. Like, I'm pretty certain if I turn on at any point, in the third quarter, Essendon will be up by about 30 to 35 points. It's going to be boring as hell. Now that I've said that, it's probably going to be one with Watson pushing the ball over the line using his bicep after the siren. But
Massive game for Port. If they can win this one,
Yeah.
they cement themselves in the 8, and it's very hard to see them actually.
first of all, we just saw something that no man should ever see, and I'm going to take Essendon head to head and then claw my own eyes out.
I'm going to take Essendon at the extended line, which currently sits at 28.5.
Still not paying any respect to Port Adelaide.
Not in Melbourne.
Alright, to do something different to John, I'm going to take the regular line on Essendon.
I got to tell you, this week I'm either I don't know. But
This week,
I'm gonna be
Vava could lead by $100.
or I'd be down 150.
Yeah.
How am I seeing?
Well,
this
some of these
so
odds will be decent, so you could be leading by 300.
Well, I actually did my tips on the Sportsbet website for the Sportsbet tipping, and it gives you the odds for the multi on your tips. Came in at like $49.
It's pretty good. Alright, thank you very much, and please join us next week. Let's just say cheers. Bye.